For reaction, let's welcome in now former acting chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors under President Trump, Tyler Goodspeed. Nice to see you, sir. Good morning to you. All right, if you could, just your top line thoughts again from Manchin, more spending in Washington at a time when we're seeing record high inflation.
Well, it's good to be with you. I don't see an awful lot in this agreement that would be in any way disinflationary. I mean, really the only provision in there that could be somewhat disinflationary is the prescription drug negotiation. But on the other hand, that's likely going to result in less drug innovation. But really on the tax front, we're talking about taxing large corporations a bit more, taxing some high net worth individuals a bit more. That's not really going to do anything on inflation, and it's probably going to impede business investment. And then we see a lot that actually would be somewhat inflationary. So we're talking about huge subsidies for green energy, and we're talking about more subsidies for Obamacare. So on net, I would see those provisions as being somewhat inflationary.
And let me ask you about the timing of it all, because we just got in those GDP numbers for the second quarter. And again, it's negative growth. So what are the big implications right now for the U.S. economy? Because by typical traditional definition, we're in a recession. Do you see it that way?
So I don't even think one needs to look at just the technical definition. Look at the more formal definition used by the National Bureau of Economic Research, which is the official recession data in the United States. They define a recession on the basis of depth, duration, and diffusion. So depth, we just had in the first half of this year a 0.6 percentage point decline in U.S. output. That's actually pretty big. That's bigger than the recession in the early 1960s, bigger than the recession in 69, 70, bigger than the recession in the early 1990s. In terms of duration, we've had 2 quarters. And in terms of diffusion, look, we had a decline in business investment, a decline in non-residential investment, a decline in residential investment, a decline in inventories, a decline in government spending. Really, the only area, the only pocket of strength was the consumer. So I think by those 3D definitions, it looks a lot like a recession.
Yeah. Indeed. The White House, though, of course, sees it quite differently. They talk about the job growth as to why they're not considering it a technical definition of a recession. There's also been sort of this blame game going on as to who's to blame for this inflation we're seeing. Of course, we heard the Putin price hike. There was blame on Republicans in Congress. Here's the White House press secretary commenting on the president's role in all of this.
It was this president's plans that contributed to inflation, right?
No, it was not. It was this president's plan. If we talk about the American Rescue Plan, look, Peter, when the president walked into this administration, there was an economic crisis, there was a COVID crisis, there was a climate change crisis, and we're still dealing with a lot of that right now. But the president turned the economy back on.
Your thoughts on that?
Not true. The Biden administration walked into a recovery that was already 10 months old. The National Bureau of Economic, talk about recessions, the National Bureau of Economic Research officially declared that the 2020 pandemic recession ended April 2020. We had several months of multi-million person job growth in May, June, July, and August of 2020, and U.S. GDP had rebounded in the third quarter of 2020 by 34%. I think the problem was that in March 2021, the Biden administration passed a demand stimulus equal to 10% of the output, the annual output of the entire U.S. economy, and that stoked a huge surge in demand while the supply side of the U.S. recovery was still recovering.
Let's talk about some actions that we see our government leaders take to try to get this under control. The Fed unleashed another big rate hike, 0.75 of a percentage point yesterday. That came in, that was on top of the previous rate hike. You know, is this sort of a plan at least in place to prevent future quarter from having negative growth?
So I'm actually a little bit concerned because, yes, the Fed did a 0.75 percentage point increase in the federal funds rate, but the problem is inflation is at 9%. So even with interest rates at 2.5%, real interest rates, inflation-adjusted interest rates are negative, and so that actually means that the stance of monetary policy is still actually somewhat still somewhat expansionary, still somewhat inflationary. And so I think that we could actually be in for a repeat of the experience of the 1970s, where you get sort of a stop-start version of monetary policy, and in the meantime, inflation expectations become really embedded in the U.S. economy.
A major challenge this White House continues to face. Tyler Goodspeed with his take on it. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
Thank you.